the guy, his mom picks the wife for him kind of thing. And, the guy's a very nice kid. He's an obedient kid. He's going to say, yes, mom. The way they have to understand is that, okay, I will obey my parents and my parents might be happy now, but within 2 years, if things don't work out, the consequences of my decision are going to hurt my parents, are going to hurt me, and are going to hurt that woman. Ask people, do your homework.
A lot of people have this misconception that, once I feel closer to God, then I'm going to start practicing. It's backwards. You won't feel close to God until you start practicing. The Prophet ﷺ, there's a hadith Qudsi where he says that the most beloved acts of worship to God are those which he made obligatory. The person continues to get closer and closer to Allah. Key point, gets closer and closer by voluntary acts of good. So like sunnah, things, for the sake of Allah, things that are not obligatory, but you do them just to please Allah, until Allah begins to love the person. So two things. You want to feel close to Allah. You want Allah to love you. Do what Allah prescribes for you, which is fard. So praying, fasting, hajj, zakat, and ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadur Rasulullah. And then on top of that, sunnah prayers, sunnah fasts, giving extra in charity, to the point where Allah will inshallah begin to love you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to the three what? I'm on the same one as Angel, man. We're keeping it. We're keeping it. All right. Welcome back to the Three Muslim podcast. We're your hosts, Fayed, Rami, and Angel. We're joined again with our honorable guest, Brother Gabriel Al Romaani.
Hold on. We're the realest what?
Realest podcast in the dunya.
Bro, how could you miss the main part, bro?
Man, I just finished. Okay.
No, that's fasting, man. Give a break.
Listen. He didn't even say realist. He said wheelist. The dry fasting getting you, bro.
Yeah, man. Let's get into Bismillah. Yes, welcome back to the podcast. We are the realest podcast in the dunya, and we're joined again for part 4 of the intimacy series with Brother Gabriel Al Romaani. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, akhi. How you doing?
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, man.
Alhamdulillah, that's good.
Just started fasting.
Ooh. Oh, you just started?
Yeah, we just started. 7 a.m. Yeah, alhamdulillah.
May Allah accept it from you.
I mean, yes. you guys are about to finish, huh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Nice. MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah. How you guys feeling, man? First day was like tough, man. My head was like, poof.
Yeah.
Bro, second day was the worst for me.
Really?
Yeah, second day, like I just felt out of it. But today I feel sharp. It's just now that I'm at the end, and my body is like, all right, bro, it's time.
It's time. SubhanAllah. It's like your body kicks in the extra energy, you know what I mean? Towards the end of the day, you feel like strong, huh? MashaAllah.
Mm-hmm.
Keep busy though, yeah. Alhamdulillah. MashaAllah. It's good, man. Day 5 today, man. Wow. It's like flying.
Yeah, SubhanAllah, it really is. This is definitely my hardest day for me, though, as you could see. Mans can't speak.
Bismillah. Cool.
Alhamdulillah. So we ended off part 3 or episode 3 of the intimacy series talking about preparation for nikah. So I think we should continue that, inshallah. So,
MashaAllah.
Yeah. So if you have a mental note of where you want to start, inshallah khair. If not, then I have a few questions already.
Yeah, let's start with some questions and get you guys more involved. Bismillah.
Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So, in being prepared for nikah, we talked about financials and all of that, building up to being ready and all of that. Did we talk about vetting?
We did a bit about vetting, but I think we need to get a bit more into that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So let's talk about vetting a little bit more, inshallah. For both men and women, is it similar? Is it different? So on.
Yes. SubhanAllah, last night I got a question from one of my clients, and they were this was a woman, and she was basically saying like, look, like I need to get married, but like, how do I go about it? She's like, I'm terrified And there's this gamophobia, right? It's fear of marriage, right? SubhanAllah, if you guys, sounds like game phobia or something, but it's called gamophobia. It's the phobia of marriage. Like it's something so real that people are scared of marriage. And she said basically like everywhere I look is divorce, 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 divorce. Everyone is divorced. I think one of my clients was saying like of all the friends that they have, like I think it was like 80% are divorced within like the first 5 years, you know. And this is just that person's experience, but it is something that is a problem. And of course, it's not vetting or wrong vetting is not the only problem. There's a lot of other factors, but if as we're talking about vetting, I think our ummah, the Muslim ummah, we are not vetting correctly. And what do we mean by vetting? Meaning just before marriage, like making a decision. Because, you know, sometimes we use these Western terms and people might think that, what are we doing? Are we injecting something into Islam? No, the concept of picking your spouse or picking, you know, your wife, your husband is something very much from the Quran and Sunnah, from the Prophet ﷺ. And the first evidence for that is the Sahaba, they said to the Prophet ﷺ, like, I want to get married, you know, I'm going to get married. And he said, did you see her? And he said, no. He said, go see her because there's something in the eyes of the women of the Ansar, you know, and other examples. So you have to see. And here, the issue of seeing obviously is related to what? Is related to attraction, which is again huge and taboo a lot within our community. So what happens is, again, I base it on, you know, 17 years of counseling experience in the community, where the brother, the guy, you know, his mom picks the wife for him kind of thing. You know, she says, okay, my son, we have this family. They're a good family and they are my friend. And I've already talked to the mom and she has a daughter. Okay. And she's really good. She's studying, and you got to marry her because it's a good family and we want to unite the two families. And, you know, the guy's a very nice kid. He's an obedient kid. He's going to say, yes, mom. All right. And finally, there's something like the mothers get involved in this a lot. From my experience in the community, the mothers do a lot of, you know, going, seeing. It's like almost like the mother is marrying the woman, you know, like she has to be happy. I'm not going to name the cultures, but throughout there is a, you know, we can say consistency in this problem. Now, I don't want to generalize, but yes, this is an issue. So the guy accepts sometimes even before seeing the girl, or even if he's going to see the girl, he's not going to be able to put an argument up. All right. That, okay, really, I don't like her. Some people do when it's really, there's incompatibility, full incompatibility. But in general, a lot of I think the way we raise our children is good, that they are obedient to the parents, وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. But this is not the correct approach of Islam, where like it's just سَمِعْنَا وَطَعَنَا for everything with parents, because parents are not, أعوذ بالله, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? They can be wrong. And I think the way a man or a woman has to think when it comes to obedience to parents, sorry, let's use even stronger words, when the parents push the marriage on them, okay, and kind of like don't give them any choice. I think the way they have to understand is that, okay, I will obey my parents and my parents might be happy now, but within 2 years, if things don't work out, the consequences of my decision are going to hurt my parents, are going to hurt me, and are going to hurt that woman, right? So right now they might be happy with me, but you're not thinking ahead, right? You're not thinking ahead, and you might make a mistake. And come on, let's be honest. A lot of people do push themselves onto the marriage, and within a few years, they can't be together. They just cannot coexist in the same place, and they will divorce. Or if they do not divorce, and some cultures, obviously, the issue of divorce is, again, something very, very taboo. So they stick it out and suffer, right? They suffer. But it's a very miserable life, and the families feel it. Because there's, you know, when you're like faking it and you're just trying to get through it, you're not really behaving well. People will notice you're not giving the best. There's no flow of energy. There's no flow, right? You go to a family meeting, people notice, like, what's wrong with this person? Like they're not happy. You can't hide. I'm so sorry, but happiness, you cannot hide it. Even if you fake it, you're the best person, right? To fake it, in the end, people feel that it is fake. So it's going to hurt people. People are going to start wondering, being sad. What's wrong with you? Are you okay? Pushing you, trying to get into your life. And it's just not good. So vetting is just so important on all levels. The physical level, the chemistry, the psychological, emotional, spiritual level, the deen, Islam, make sure that you're connected there. All these aspects are very important. How are you going to know whether you're going to be able to be compatible? Well, you have to meet. You have to see each other. You have to interact. Before Khadija radiallahu anha, she married the Prophet ﷺ, she knew a lot about him. And not just that, he worked for her. And she asked about him. She inquired. So that's, we see now here, few steps that we can be doing the vetting process. So number one, yes, you should see the person. And there should be some proximity, not just a picture. Sorry, but pictures today, especially today, with all these filters, people are living life with the filter. So it's like good from far, but far from good. You know what I mean? When you actually see it in reality. So, of course, forgive me, and beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I understand. I know some people are like, bro, what you talking about, right? I'm beautiful. Alhamdulillah, inshallah, you are. But this is the reality, right? People there has to be proximity. This is the way humans have been dealing for thousands of years, because when there's proximity, there's pheromones, there's energy, there's things that flows, right? And you feel it, you feel when you're around someone. So how many times, you exchange messages, WhatsApp, this and that. But then when you get to meet that person face to face, it's a whole different dynamics. All right. And that's why I really don't like the way our world is going and where it's going, because we are removing the human element from the equation when it comes to relationships, business, dealings, and so on. So go see her and you will feel it. Now, another problem is that a lot of people say, well, I'm not feeling it now, but inshallah, I will feel it later. Like this is something that I heard that it's going to come later. So, it's okay. I'll just accept now. Maybe not. That you don't know. you just don't know, right? So again, that's why the Prophet did tell the Sahaba, go see. He could have said, oh, don't worry, man. Just go ahead, talk to Allah, and you'll feel it after, check it out after, No, he said, go. Check it out. Make sure you're okay. Make sure you're happy. Make sure you feel good about it. This is the person you're going to wake up next to for the rest of life. And you want to make sure you wake up happy. So the Prophet said in an authentic hadith that the best woman that you want to marry is the one that when you look at her, you are pleased. And when you command her, she obeys. All right? So these are two aspects that he, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, taught. He also said in another hadith that about the woman who is fertile or warm. Okay? I know we don't want to use other words, but basically the fertile, loving woman who wants to produce children, who wants to be intimate. How are you going to know that? Well, there are a few ways to know that. Of course, people not comfortable with this, but there are ways. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put a general framework within the Sharia and has made things very general, like for example in science, right? And so on. Things in the Quran in general that push people and encourage people to explore the natural sciences and the humanities and so on. So that's where we see the scholars of old, that this general framework, there's certain specifics in Islam for sure, and then there's general frameworks, and those push you to explore more, to learn more within the general demarcations of the Sharia. So we see these advice of the Prophet ﷺ. So definitely, are we following that? Again, my argument is always like, are we actually following Islam in anything? So today we're talking about intimacy, okay, vetting. Are we actually following the Sunnah? And my response will be no. I think we're following culture in a lot of cases. And some of the culture, with all due respect, because it's, changes and so on. Some things are just extra. I'm not trying to disrespect anyone, that's why I'm not naming, but some things are just extra. And those extra are causing the problems that we're having today. So if in someone's culture is like, you don't have to see someone, you just see them on the day of your marriage. I know some people get upset, but then again, you are setting yourself up for failure. People say, yeah, bro, but look, we are, we don't have divorce in our community. Yeah, but people are suffering. Yes, they're sticking together, but they're committing zina. They're addicted to porn. They're gay. They're this, they're that. Again, I'm talking from hundreds, if not thousands of cases that I deal with. So yes, people stick it out. And yeah, you don't have the numbers, the statistics that in our community, we have huge divorce, but are you happy? Or it's not about being happy like yoo-hoo, you're jumping up and down. It's about being content, about, having flow, about going through your life and worshiping Allah and achieving things in life. Because that's what happens when you have a mental, psychological, emotional block that comes out of a bad, negative, toxic relationship. You can't give the world the best that you have. You might be very skilled, you might have good talents on many things. And to be honest, you're making a dhulm or a wrongdoing to the world, because Allah is giving you all the skills and the world doesn't get it from you. You know what I mean? Like,
I had one main thing on my mind. What would you say is like a good list of red flags of women to avoid today in the modern world?
From a man's side, in terms of women, what to avoid. Well, I think the woman who complains a lot, if that's all she does in your initial conversation, just complains about this, about that, it's all about complaining. Be careful of a person who nags and complains. Okay, might be a beautiful person, might be a beautiful woman, but if she's always complaining and nagging, if her conversations start with, my friend is like this and my family is like that and my university is like this and my everything is about, complaining, it's not a good thing, because it shows a personality issue that this person is prone to being, to complain a lot, and that's going to come to you.
I heard this quote: if she complains about you, or sorry, if she complains to you about them, she's complaining to them about you.
Exactly.
Jeez, your audio is feeble right now, dude.
Mashallah. Mashallah. So yeah, I think that's probably one of the most important things. And again, as I said before, like people, and on the guy side, from the woman to the guy, a big red flag if he's always like, I don't know, we'll see, like he's not decisive, right? If a woman's going to ask a man questions when she vets him, she talks to him, she meets him face to face, and he's like he doesn't have a plan, he's just like, I don't know, we'll see, inshallah, inshallah is mashallah, it's something, that is very important in our deen, but people use it like kind of like as a substitute for, I have no clue what I'm doing, let's just see what happens, you know what I mean? And that's not correct. So she should be very, very wary of that. All right. Definitely physical attraction is very important, and you will feel it. Okay. People are not in touch with themselves. That's the problem, I think, because they suppress their emotions. And we see this when we look in the poetry of the Arabs and of the scholars and so on, talking about love, for example. And there is no suppression of emotions. It's just control and management of how you behave and what you do in terms of, the dynamics in society, the respect they have for each other. But there was never a blockage of emotions and of feelings. And even the Prophet ﷺ, he tells a story of some of the old pre-Islamic incidents about love and about this and that. So, and has a discussion with his wife, with Aisha radiallahu anha, and sometimes they're joking about marriage and this and that. So there was no repression of emotions, but we find that happens in our communities. So people go with these these blocks, and they don't want to feel anything. They don't want to see how they feel. They don't know how to check whether they feel something or not. And then someone asks them, so what do you think? Are you okay? I'm like, it's okay, I guess. I don't know. Bismillah, may Allah help it, make it easy. And then they go ahead, and again, marriage might end up in problems. All right. So you have to go to the vetting session 1, twice, 3 times, 4 times, I don't know, 10 times till you are happy. Now, again, the setting and how and all that should be respectful, should be with the knowledge of people within public, this, that, no doubt. But not just like, auntie, recommended a girl, calls the mom sets it up. Okay, nikah is on the 20th, of this month. Let's do it. You know what I mean? Ugh. Okay, it's not so good. And then, 2 years later, they're in our office, or in one of our files dealing with, so many issues, right? Or divorcing or any other problems. So I think this is very important, brothers and sisters. I cannot emphasize enough that there has to be something. Now, don't go like, it's not dating or, go for 2 years. Let me get to know this person. Let me taste the cake and, and all that. No, but there has to be some form of vetting. And as we said last time, I made these 2 points. I said istikhara, like you ask Allah, right? You have to learn istikhara. Some people don't know the dua of istikhara. Okay, and istishara, and you consult with people and you ask around. Like, it's not just your vetting. That's another wave or another form of vetting, is that you ask people, do your homework, ask people who know them, families, this and that. Don't just, okay, I met them, because this person can put in a very nice image when they meet you. They might be very, very good when they meet you. Obviously, going to be on their best behavior, right? Because they're already proud. When I go and inspect teachers in schools as an inspector, I do announced inspections, then I do unannounced inspections, because announced inspections, everyone's going to prepare, right? Like, they know they're going to put on their best. When I used to be a teacher, I used to have my ace lesson up my sleeve, like it was just ready. Whenever an inspection comes, it's like I used to have like the best lesson ready. So I kind of beat the unannounced inspection like that. I would pull out the best lesson ever. But I try to go and not catch them, but I want to see how you are in just your regular day-to-day, how you behave. And that's why one of the Sahaba, if I remember the story correctly, that he was hiding. He was checking this woman out and looking and see, but he was kind of like hiding, not allowing her to see him. And he told the Prophet, and he was laughing, So he was like, kind of like, just, I wouldn't say spying, but he was like, just checking it out and just seeing, just to see how she acts naturally. And that's how it is, right? If someone sees you, but if you're on your own terms, you act differently, right? So it's important to know. That's why the Sahaba said that you only know a person truly when you live with them, when you travel with them, when you make business with them, right? This is a reality, and that's the reality that in the end, even this person, you vet them and whatnot, you're only going to find out who they really are within the first few, months or first year of living with them. And you have to make adjustments and whatnot. But vetting, just to leave it to end the point, is extremely important. I believe our community doesn't do enough. I believe the community needs to set up classes to teach people how to go about it. Okay, pre-marital counseling. It is now part of some of the masajid, I believe, and some of the programs that they have. Alhamdulillah, I think it is increasing, but it needs to be done more. It needs to be done more. And I'm not sure. I've seen some of the courses. I think needs to be a bit more realistic and a bit more, not just about, okay, your rights in Islam are this and her rights are that. Okay, get married. No, it's about like, what are some of the things that you can do, some of the things you can ask, some of the issues you can consider and whatnot. And again, based on, as we went right now, on the Quran and Sunnah, what the Prophet ﷺ did. Let's look at the marriage of the Sahaba. Because again, we might have a standard. I was listening to a lecture the other day. These sisters were talking about, marriage. But the problem is their standard was their own experiences only. It was not the Quran Sunnah. It was not examples from the life of the Prophet ﷺ. They were just giving their own experiences and opinions. And that's not necessarily the best. So I think we need to contextualize things and give the evidence, because in the end, this is the best revelation. This is the revelation from Allah. And we want to make sure that we understand it and we use those concepts to apply to our daily life. So very important to have pre-marital classes, get the people out there, let them see each other, put them face to face, let them ask the questions. build scenarios. Have a list, like sit down, have a paper and build 10 scenarios that you think in life are important that would really tick you off. Like if it happens in the wrong way, like something that's really, it's like you cringe, when it happens in life, and then set it up in such a way, and then ask the sister, like something like, what would you do if I come home and this, something like that, like, I don't know. One important question is like, what would you do if you come home at, 8, 9 p.m. and you're tired and I want to get busy, I want to go to bed, I want to be intimate, what would you say? And, like, no, that's like, I think that's like not, not appropriate.
We already did last night.
Something like that. Again, like you got to understand some of these issues. Yeah, it's not Saturday. You got to understand, some of these things.
I know, man.
Mashallah.
Quick reminder, bro. You got to leave soon.
Yeah, no, I'm about to leave right now. I was about to say everything.
What are you cooking?
I'm about to cook some beef with some potatoes and some chicken, and I'm gonna have some
skills or what?
water. Man, I got to, bro. I ain't got no wives.
Oh, so like what are you, like a black belt or something in cooking? Are you black belt in cooking?
Nah, bro. I'm like a white belt, bro. My cooking, sometimes I'll cook, I'll be like, ooh, this is nice. And I'll go to a restaurant, I'll be like, yeah, nah, my cooking ain't good.
Yeah, but it's like nice when you do it, right? Like it's like you feel like
clean,
yeah. Clean.
I'd rather be doing something else, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just the time.
Yeah. But bro, last thing that I want to say is that it's very logical what you're saying. I mean, someone in their right mind wouldn't just go and get married with another person without knowing this person, whether they're Muslim or not, So I think it's beautiful that the Prophet ﷺ is saying this, and it's also pure logic. Like someone can comprehend this without even knowing Islam.
That's right.
Without knowing anything really.
Hold up. Did you just say the Prophet ﷺ?
I did. That came out clean, right?
It came out clean, and I noticed that, bro. It was the first time I heard that from you, bro.
Beautiful.
It wasn't the Prophet, peace be upon him. Subhanallah.
Beautiful.
Yo, it's getting kind of dark here. I'm gonna head out. It would be like, man.
He's out. Huh? That's how you leave us, huh?
Mashallah. Much love. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Enjoy your iftar, bro. Salam. We'll see you tomorrow, same time,
Lots
bro.
of dua, man.
Yes, sir.
So funny.
All right. With that being
said,
said,
real.
Yeah. With that being said, all the red flags aside, what are some green ones, right? I do a lot of online coaching, fitness type of stuff, but people come to me with questions on marriage, just normal type of relationship stuff, just mental health stuff too. And then one of the most common things I have once we're done red flags is, what are some green flags or green lights, right? Things that are like standards, things that you will know, without these, you will not, for example, consider even someone. So what would that be for you, brother?
Yeah, I think, for a woman, if I look at a woman, if I meet a woman to marry her, one of the most important things would be, of course, as the Prophet ﷺ said, look at her deen, the deen first, right? And I think when you look at the deen, be careful here. And I've made a video on this about marrying the sheikha, Don't be deceived. A lot of guys get deceived by the appearance and some of the practice. So, mashallah, the hijab is good, the niqab or so on, which is very important, no doubt. I mean, that's something important. But a lot of times guys prematurely think that, okay, she's really wearing an abaya and niqab, so she must be like a really, really good Muslimah, okay? A good Muslim is a very comprehensive term. And I think the brothers, because of a lot of the issues that are addressed in the social media Muslim discourse is a lot about to do with the prayer, the appearance, the this, that, right? So a lot of people make the judgment like she must be a good Muslim because she wears niqab. Not necessarily, okay? Not necessarily. You have to be careful. And that's why I said in my video, some of the guys suffer. They've married the niqabi, they married the very, pious looking, everything. but she's not a good wife. You understand? So, for example, she'll be praying Qiyam al-Layl, so praying the whole night, you know? And a lot of, yeah, they do, like, you know, reading Quran a lot, studying and so on. But when he calls her to bed, she says no. Okay, she says, I don't want to make ghusl, for example. It was one of the questions that came, you know, I don't like to make ghusl. So can I just reject, you know, intimacy? Because, you know, I want to do this and do that. No, that's a misunderstanding. Actually, that is a problem in her fiqh. And fiqh in Islam means understanding. يُفَقِّهُ فِي الدِّينِ. He will understand or be thought to understand in the deen. So if she's putting Qiyam al-Layl, which is a sunnah, over her husband who calls her to bed, which is a fard, she has misunderstood the priorities of Islam. And I can tell you that marriage is going to fall apart. She is praying, and she was going to say something like, but I'm praying, I'm making dua for you. وَجَزَاكَ khair, but I'm suffering. You know what I mean? Like, I need to be intimate. And, you know, she's gonna, but I'm fasting, but I'm studying Islam. I thought you're gonna be happy. I want to raise our children in Islam. Yeah, good. You don't have to be, you know, a mufti. You know what I mean? You don't have to become a scholar. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that some women should not become a scholar, but in general, that is not something that is by default that women should take upon.
What do you say about this thing that all women say nowadays, including Muslim feminists?
Yes.
Is it only about that? Is it all about intimacy? What do you say to that?
Well, I'll say what the sheikh, one of the sheikhs, I'm not going to name because I don't want people to smash his inbox. But when he was asked that question, he said, yes.
Yes.
He said, it is indeed. It's one of the most important thing in nikah that becomes the first thing that becomes halal when you marry is intimacy, right? That's why it's called nikah. So very important. It's not the only thing, no, but when it's not there, then definitely it's going to be the one thing that's always on the mind, you know, and it's going to cause problems. So she cannot use that. He's going to suffer, and she's going to suffer too. It depends, obviously, and that's the issue, right, of feeling the connection, the issues of libido and differences in that. That's also a problem that needs to be discussed at some point. But definitely, she can be very religious, looking, praying, practicing, but all these things are sunnah. The Prophet ﷺ said, the Muslim woman, she just has to do her fard. And let's analyze that. Fard means she prays 5 daily prayers, no extra sunnah. Fard means no extra. Of course, she'll pray extra sunnah, but in general, that's all it's needed, her fard. 5 daily prayers. Okay. Fasting Ramadan. Perfect. Okay. What else? Believing in Allah and His Messenger. Okay. 3 are there out of 5. Fulfilling Hajj. لمن استطاع إليه سبيلا. If she has the ability. If not, then خلاص, you know. So then it's only 3 now you have. And to pay zakah again if the nisab is met. So even that, you don't know, right? So basically she has to do 3 things, okay? To believe in Allah and His Messenger, to pray, and to fast. And obey her husband. She can choose whichever gate of Jannah she will walk through. And that's my question to the sisters. Do you want Jannah? Shortcut is there. Shortcut is there. You want to struggle and be in the spotlight and on the podiums and giving lectures and empowering women and all that, and struggling your way through dunya and divorcing and going because you think you have your rights and you have to lift your fist in the air and you think you're going to get to Jannah. I'm not astaghfirullah, the one who decides. I'm just saying that it's quite, I can see the women exhausting themselves.
Bro,
I can see women being tired.
yes. Wasn't there a hadith where a guy came up to the Prophet ﷺ and I don't know if it was one of the Sahaba, but he was like, you know, should I prostrate to you? And the Rasulullah ﷺ was saying, if there was someone that I could tell you to prostrate to aside from Allah, it would be to your husbands, women to their husbands.
Yeah, so he came from the Christian lands, and he saw some people doing that to their priests and whatnot. So he wanted to do that. He actually did that. And Sallallahu said, no, you cannot do that. He says, but if anyone would have been ordered to, it would have been the woman towards the man, because of the responsibility and accountability that the man has, you know, and the fadl that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him, right? A lot of people misinterpret this. They think that it's like, oh, look at this male chauvinist, you know.
No.
It's so sad. Like I've seen these days now, these liberal sisters have no limits. Like they're questioning the scholarship of Islam, saying that it's the man that twisted these hadith and this and that, and back, mouthing Bukhari and Muslim and the scholars of Islam. And it's very sad that it reached to this position, but it is a reality. So yeah, I mean, that's the shortcut. The women have the shortcut. That doesn't mean they cannot be happy. They cannot do things. That doesn't mean they're slave. That doesn't mean, no, that's not what I'm talking about. The mindset. I'm talking about, the problem is with our sisters today that they don't accept the belief, so their mindset is clogged. So of course they're going to see it as negative. They're going to see it as something difficult for them, harsh. It's all about us. But when you have faith and iman and you understand the context of this, and you don't see, I'm not stuck, I'm not a slave, alhamdulillah, I'm happy, because I understand what's my objective. My objective is Jannah. This life is very short. I can still enjoy this life. I will enjoy this life because my husband is happy with me and I'm happy with him, and we love each other, and I do my part, he does his part, we're a team, we have beautiful children. I don't need to listen to this feminist rant that go out there and beat yourself in the chest and make your hijab into a turban and take it off and burn it and be strong and talk about your problems and this and that. And then you're gonna get Jannah, right? So I don't know, it's a problem. I think a lot of women are very happy with just following the Quran Sunnah because their mindset is tuned to that. And if a sister comes and says, but you're oppressed, like I was just talking to a brother yesterday, and he said that he's mashallah, a traditional brother, and he says, my own family are attacking my wife because she's like happy to cook for me every day. And they're saying, whoa, you're oppressing her. And they're coming to her and saying, you are oppressed. And she says, no, I'm not. No, you are oppressed. She's like, but I'm not. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm happy. No, you just brainwash. You don't understand. You're going to see it the way we see it. You're going to see it. And she's like, I don't see it. I'm very happy with my husband. He's very happy with me. I enjoy what I'm doing. What is your problem? You know what I mean? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, leave me to myself, man. Like, take it easy, It's the mindset, man. It's the mindset has been attacked, of course, by the propaganda and the enemies of Islam. And it changes, right? Because belief changes. Belief can be changed. So these are, I would say, very important things for brothers to make sure that when they choose the deen, that it includes her understanding of priorities of the fard, of her position as a wife. And yeah, I mean, mostly men are not looking for scholar women. They're looking for good wives, good mothers who have their deen and know their deen. I'm not saying, to be ignorant. Actually, it's important. The Prophet ﷺ used to educate the women. It's important. We're not saying that no education. No, but they should understand their priorities. And it is part of the fiqh. It is part of the teachings of Islam. It's very, very important. So that is a very important green flag for me so I can ask the right question. So I'm not going to ask her like, okay, what is the nisab of zakah or this or that, like, that's not going to be my question, to be honest, because then you can look up. I will ask her issues around application in marriage and being a mother, the fiqh of mu'amalat or dealings with each other. Okay, this is very important. How, this, that, and so on, How would you deal with the neighbors? How would you deal with me? These kind of stuff.
And I'm learning so much, but this is one thing I need to add, that these things naturally women want to talk about, and they'll be honest if you have some level of not being judgmental. Now, I'm not saying you need to be non-judgmental just to get her to, read everything out, but it's like you shouldn't be too judgmental anyway, especially with a woman that you're not even going to marry. If she says something that's a complete deal breaker and red flag, you don't need to marry her, but at least you'll get to know her fully. It's better to know that woman fully and not marry her than not know her at all and then get into a marriage with her and then find out later on, oh, what is this? I didn't think you were like this. You wore a hijab. Your sister, I thought it was this. And come on, like, that's going to end. Rami, do feel free to jump in right now anytime, because you've been a little, I don't know if we're stealing the mic too much, but we're on a time crunch, not too much. We talked about it from a man's side. I want to know things from a woman's side. So what are things that, how can a woman know that I have an effeminate man who's obviously not, good marriage material by the least, because you talked about decisiveness. So that's one.
Yes.
Once that's done, let's skip over to what parents can do. Any advice you have for parents on their kids that are ready for marriage and how they
Cool.
can approach that.
Cool. Yeah. So from the woman's side, if we're going again, maybe sister would be like, how did you know? You're a guy, you know, because again, I deal with a lot of female clients. Okay, and people can judge whatever. Many of the sheikhs respond to sisters, and you know, I can name them, but again, people again are judgmental. We have our system and our way, and we do it properly, and we've been doing it for a long time. And with women, you know, guys, because of the system of the 21st century, starting with the educational system, just the way they're you know, raised up by the media and so on, guys are quite weak today. We have to admit that. Okay, I know that we are trying to empower men and to raise, you know, the awareness of masculinity, but part of that is realizing where we are, right? So when you try to revamp a system, you do what's called a baseline assessment. So when we do a baseline assessment of men today, men are, I mean, they leave a lot to be wished for. You know what I mean? They are weak spiritually, emotionally, intellectually, financially, physically. We are weak. Just look around, go to the masjid and just take a sample. Something like yesterday, I was praying just before Juma. We went early, and I do this because as a, you know, person who comes from a science background, I observe. So I was sitting around and just looking at the size of people. Sorry, you know, I don't want to be, you know, but it was just the size of people. And it was something, I was like, how many in that masjid? It was about, I estimated about 400 people. There was about, you know, 5 that were in shape. Okay, only 5 that were in shape. The other ones, sadly, you know, it was just something sad. You're judging. You know, I'm not judging. I'm just trying to make a point. Okay, the Prophet ﷺ made very clear when the guy came with a, you know, with a belly. And the Sahaba were. You don't have to have an 8-pack, guys. That's not what I'm talking about. Not beach body, you know, ab whatever. I don't know what, you know, men's health thing. You know, that's not what I'm talking about. If you can do it, alhamdulillah, bismillah. I'm sure maybe your wife would like that. But if you don't take care of yourself, it shows, again, mindset and character, that you don't care about yourself. All right. You can tell a lot about a man when you look at the way he looks. He takes care of himself, his clothes, his car, okay, if it's clean or not, a lot of things, okay, his room, a lot of things. You can tell a lot about a man. And sadly, men today are quite weak. So when women, they want to vet and they want to see what I choose, you want to look for a man who is strong. Okay, as the Prophet ﷺ said, "Al-Muslimu qawi ahabbu ila Allah min al-Muslimu da'if," that the strong Muslim is more beloved to Allah than the weak Muslim. Right now, you'd be like, "Oh, again, you're focusing on this." No, I'm saying what the Prophet ﷺ said, and it's all over. It's not just about that he has muscles or not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying his character. Is he decisive? Does he have a plan in life? Ask him. Sisters just go like, "Okay, brother, I like you. You know, you are handsome. Tawakkal, let's get married." Nah. Ask him, what's your plan in life? What do you want to do? What is your goal? How are you going to take care of us? What do you know, ask these questions about plans, about their dreams. It's not, there's a difference. Be careful. Usually people ask about what? Job, right? Do you have a job? What do you work as? No, man, because that job can disappear in no time. Okay. And that job might not be. Ask them about what is their personal goal in life, their objective, their mission and vision. It's not the job, guys. It's not the job. Because you see, that person, when he has a mission and vision, the job will be just a sabab, a means to reach that. Okay? So that woman will know that this guy, he will do whatever it takes, okay? Whatever it takes, including work 2 jobs, and he's not going to feel ashamed because he's going to understand that that's not about a career. It's about a means for him to achieve what he wants to do, and he'll do anything to achieve that goal. And if you share that dream and if you believe in him, then that is a good man to rely upon, because he's not going to leave you at the first sign of problems or financial difficulties, or he's going to run away from responsibility. He's going to be able to stick about him. We know it's been proven that women prefer and really react well to stability, to safety. It's just the way Allah created them, right? And that's another evidence for the fact that, you know, women's role is not to be out there and about there and doing all the things that men do. They're more of the nurture. They're more of the one who built the home and the family and manage that, all right? And the man is the one who's doing the hustling, right? And the two, again, are a team. And when the dynamics are clear, alhamdulillah, the marriage is really good, right? Because imagine the husband is out, she's taking care of things, they miss each other, they come, this, you know, but if both of them are out, both of them are doing things, both of them have their own life, both of them are tired, they just come home and just cohabitate. They're just like roommates, you know what I mean? That's not marriage, man. And that's the thing, right? It's like, I'm telling you, if a woman comes home tired, okay, and we're talking about intimacy, forget about intimacy, bro. It ain't happening. If she's not in the mood, the mindset is not there, okay, she's just not happening. And that's just the way women are. Again, I'm not generalizing. There might be exceptions. Some sister watching, I'm like, I'm not like that. I can do anytime. No. But in general, if she's very tired, her, you know, she had a bad day, her boss was being, you know, a bad guy or whatever, or she's, you know, whatever, there was problems at work, she has the wrong mindset right now, wrong emotions, gets home, stuck in traffic for an hour, you know, she's not going to want to do it, man. Even if she's going to force herself, it's not going to be good. You're going to feel that she's not there, she's not present, okay? And you're going to feel it, and you're not going to like it, all right? But if she's home, she's taking care of things, she has time, she relaxes, she does a few things, chores, kids, that, it's like, you know, she's in her zone, she's feminine. You're coming home from a long day, bro, like 9, 10, 12 hours, having to put up with all kinds of dudes and this and that, you know, people being rude, guy cut you off, this and that. You're super like tense, upset, whatnot. Bro, you walk through that door and you see your princess, bro. It's like nothing happened, nothing. And she comes and gives you a hug and says, let's go. You're ready, bro. It's like, what? You know, it's like just boom. That's how the men are.
We're built for
it. We can be in the lowest level, man. And you see your woman, beautiful, ready for you, and she just says the right thing or touches you in the right way or gives you the hug. She smells good. And it's like, it's morning, 7 a.m. I'm ready. You know, it's like nothing happened. But all the 12 hours are erased and you're good to go, man. And it will be amazing. And then you can really relax, you know, you're like chilling, man. Like you can go to sleep. But if not, you're going to be thinking that reset doesn't happen. You're going to be thinking about that 10 hours that happened. You can't even fall asleep. Men are complaining that they don't get enough sleep, quality sleep. Yeah, because it's great to be intimate and then go to sleep after, you know, you relax, take it easy, mashallah, you know. But if both of you are out there, man, forget about it.
Imagine coming home from a long day of work and she just adds more to your plate. Not the literal plate. Like I'm not talking dinner. I'm talking about just more stuff to deal with, and it's just like, come on.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't work, man. Yeah, it's a man.
I'm not,
you know, man gets stressed. Man gets stressed.
100%. Rami, you got any comments, bro? We got 2 minutes left.
No, honestly, I'm just listening in. I'm like, that's facts, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah. So, yeah, I mean, I think we can talk more about this even in the next episode. There's still a lot that we can discuss. I think we shouldn't prematurely leave it because we want to make sure this series really address the issue. I think, again, to restate the objective of the series to our viewers, you know, this is the realest podcast in the dunya. I mean, because we're like talking about things that people don't want to talk, but they're problems. These are issues, right? So the objective is to come up with some solutions, change the mindset of people. And again, we're not saying, because when I talk about intimacy, a lot of people attack and say this is like shameful and this and that. That's not what we're trying to be, rated R and all that, or rated X, sorry. We're trying to raise an issue and give some solutions to a big problem that is breaking the ummah, is breaking the marriages, right? It's breaking the family, which is the building block of the ummah. So we want to give some solutions, change the mindset, not be vulgar or bad or this or that.
I mean, what a wonderful note, man. Any last comments from either of you?
No.
All right, then we'll pick this up tomorrow.
Inshallah, you guys enjoy your iftar, inshallah. Make
Inshallah.
lots of dua. Bismillah.
I mean,
All right, with that being said, may Allah accept our fasting from
Ameen.
all of us and all the viewers. May Allah allow us.
yeah, all good. If you made it this far, hashtag pick the right one.
Pick the right one. And make sure they
Or-
check the
or once.
previous ones and the previous episodes as well. Huh?
Facts, 100%.
Yes. If I wasn't so sloppy, I remembered to put that in. But Jazakallah khair. I apologize for the bummy intro, but inshallah I can have a better outro, inshallah. May Allah accept from us the series and al khair and our fasting and bless us with the month of Ramadan. Allahumma ameen. That being said, may Allah bless you all. Allahumma atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina adhab an-nar. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
A lot of people have this misconception that once I feel closer to God, then I'm going to start practicing. It's backwards. You won't feel close to God until you start practicing. The Prophet ﷺ, there's a hadith qudsi where he says that the most beloved acts of worship to God are those which he made obligatory. The person continues to get closer and closer to Allah. Key point, gets closer and closer by voluntary acts of good. So like sunnah, things, for the sake of Allah, things that are not obligatory, but you do them just to please Allah, until Allah begins to love the person. So two things. You want to feel close to Allah. You want Allah to love you. Do what Allah prescribes for you, which is fard. So praying, fasting, hajj, zakat, and ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. And then on top of that, sunnah prayers, sunnah fasts, giving extra in charity, to the point where Allah will inshallah begin to love you.